about 9th chapter Mauryan. You have heard about Ashoka, Emperor Ashoka. You know in our flag also, Emperor Ashoka, blue wheel we can say. Understand? That is named as Ashok Chakra, what we say. How he became very famous and from which dynasty he was, we can see today here in smart class. About how Bindusara Chandragupta, his son was Ashoka. How did Chanakya, we can see about your heard, many you see serials also was going about Chanakya. How did he help Chandragupta? Kautilya's, his name was given Kautilya. How did he help Chandragupta? Understand this? Kautilya's Astra Shastra we can say. How did he help to rule over, understand, emperor, and how did he extend from Kandar to south, understand, his full empire. When he came to the Kalinga, he was very strong, but this, how did Kalinga made him to stop the war? And how, if we go still to the Sarnath, there are on the pillars about the Ashoka's emperor, how did he administer, everything is been carved on that. So even in the lions, some capital lions have been carved on that, and from that only on our national emblems we are having 4 lions. Understand, 3 we can see and 1 is at the back. So we can see about on our emblems. Understand? So it is so famous he has become. So or even on our national flag, Ashoka's, we can say blue wheel. What is that? We can say Ashok Chakra for that. So now we can see on this smart class about Ashoka.
In this module, you will learn about various rulers of the Mauryan Empire.
See here, Ashoka, they belong to Mauryan Empire. First we learned about many dynasties, many kings from many Cholas, Chira dynasty, Pallavas, and afterwards the Mauryan Empire. How did they extended their empire? And how did Ashoka, son of Bindusara Chandragupta, he was the founder of Mauryan dynasty, that is son Ashoka, how he became famous all over India we can see.
The true lions or the lion capital on our notes and coins are from the edicts of our first empire, the Mauryan Empire, found at Sarnath. After the decline of the Indus Valley civilization, 2000 years ago, the Indian subcontinent consisted of many small kingdoms. These kingdoms were weak, as they expended huge economic and human resources fighting against each other. Chandragupta Maurya, a noble man, took advantage of this situation and laid the foundation of the Mauryan Empire by overthrowing the Nanda king. Assisting him was Chanakya, his shrewd advisor and strategist.
See, how did Chandragupta, first after the dynasty it was divided into small dynasty and there was always quarrel between them. But Chandragupta Maurya, he was very intellectual man. So he said instead of this small division, why we not take the whole empire and rule as this? So it was the Chanakya, we can say. He was intelligent man and Chanakya's Arthashastra. See in one serial we can follow how did he help Chandragupta, understand? So he defeated Nandas, understand, and he became the king of that.
Thinker. While Chandragupta waged numerous wars to conquer new regions, Chanakya laid the rules of administration of the then fledgling kingdom. He wrote his thoughts on economics, politics, foreign affairs, administration, military arts, war and religion in a book called Arthashastra. Chandragupta Maurya was succeeded by his son Bindusara, who extended the Mauryan Empire till Karnataka. After Bindusara's death,
see here, we can see Chanakya, he was having knowledge of foreign, he was having the knowledge of political, he was a good Arthashastra economics, he knew everything and he was good in art. Understand? And how did he has written in his Arthashastra, his economic book, he has written everything about this, how they can follow and how did he help Chandragupta to become the king, understand, of Magda.
His son Ashoka, regarded by many historians as the greatest ruler of the Mauryan Empire, ascended the throne. His empire, with its capital at Pataliputra, extended till modern day of Afghanistan. Its subjects spoke different languages, lived different lifestyles, wore different kinds of clothes.
See here, Bindusara's after Chandragupta was a founder of that, but his son, understand, Ashok Emperor. Ashok Emperor, we can say Emperor Ashok. How he came to the throne after Bindusara Chandragupta. So we can see, first Patliputra means it was the name of Delhi. So whatever the kings came, Delhi is the center. So they made Delhi as the capital. Understand, the capital at that time, Patliputra was known as, Delhi was known as Patliputra. Now we can see how did he rule over from, and even the Afghanistan was one part when before independence Afghanistan, Pakistan was one of the part of India. How did he rule over that?
And 8 different types of diet. The Mauryan Empire covered almost the entire length and breadth of the Indian subcontinent. To control the empire, emperors appointed family members as governors to provincial capitals like Taxila and Ujjain. Thus, only the capital city of Patliputra was actually under the direct control of the emperor. The emperor appointed several officials to collect taxes and to maintain law and order, along with several spies to keep him informed on the activities of his officials. The emperor himself supervised all the officials, messengers and spies, with the help of members of the royal family and senior ministers. He kept numerous army battalions to protect the empire against enemy attacks. This meant more expenditure on salaries. Naturally, the emperors tried to come up with additional sources of revenue. Soon they realized that if they started taxing traders for use of important land and water routes, they could raise a lot of money, and thus taxes and tributes were introduced in the empire.
See now, what did they do? From where did they, now you see how the government collect the taxes from us. Understand, we pay vehicle tax, we pay house tax, we pay water tax, so all type of taxes which government get from us, and other voluntary, involuntary taxes which government gets. So at that time also, for the running the administration, they needed money, wealth they needed. So what was the main source for them? It was only the land. Understand, the land production. It depends upon the how much production was the land, and some tribute which were given by the people. Understand? So on this they spent the money on armies. They had, for them the wealth was that for the king, the wealth was the how many horses they have, how many elephants they have, how much armies. They spend more money on armies, on the defense forces, because always they were, without saying, one king used to attack on other, and whenever they win, so that province became their own. So they at that time only wealth means animals, number of animals, number of armies, that was wealth for them. Understand?
Under the rule of the Mauryan dynasty, people had a simple, peaceful life of mutual respect and honest living. Thus, the Mauryan Empire is one of India's rich and peaceful periods. You have now reached the end of the module on the Mauryan Empire. In this module, you learned that Chandragupta Maurya founded the Mauryan Empire, India's first empire. Chandragupta was succeeded by his son Bindusara, who in turn was succeeded by Ashoka. The Mauryan Empire covered a vast region of India, and hence Mauryan emperors often sought help from their family members.
See.
Mauryan emperors appointed officials for collecting taxes and maintaining law and order.
See, these all are the points. When you see the video, you write down all these points so you can remember, understand. MCQ can arise from here, short questions can arise from here. When you see the video, so please write down these points. Chandragupta Maurya founded the Mauryan Empire, India's first empire. Chandragupta was succeeded by his son Bindusara. To turn was succeeded by Ashoka. Bindusara was his father. After him, Ashoka became the emperor. The Mauryan Empire covered a vast region of India, often sought help from their family members. What they used to do, they were the great royal family. They were from royal family. So they used to take the help from their family members only. So whatever they do, they appointed as a minister from their own royal families. They did not appoint any other person. And it was the Kautilya Chanakya, we can say. After he has written his Arthashastra, he came to be known as Kautilya. The title was given to him. So it is a Chanakya. So Mauryan Empire appointed the officer collecting the taxes and maintaining the law and order. You see, they maintain officials. Some officials they maintain for collecting the taxes, and then for maintaining law and order. So at law and order is not today's only this. It is from since ancient time they had to maintain. If there is law and order is maintained in the country, then it can be ruled successfully. If there are riots, means it will be very difficult for our prime minister or president, or it may be in ancient time for the king to rule over the country. Understand?
In this module,
now we are going to see about Ashoka.
You will learn about Ashoka, one of the greatest emperors of India. The Mauryan Empire reached its height during King Ashoka's reign. Ashoka, the greatest and most famous of all Mauryan emperors, was the son of Bindusara and the grandson of Chandragupta Maurya. Before becoming a king, he expanded the Mauryan Empire by engaging in numerous wars and battles. 8 years after becoming an emperor, Ashoka set his eyes on Kalinga, the modern-day coastal Orissa. Soon, a bloody war.
See now, we can see that Ashoka when he came to his grandson of Chandragupta, father Bindusara, Ashoka, during his reign, the country was very at the high point. Understand? And he was very good conqueror, we can say. Understand? He was a good warrior. That how did he extended his power from north till Kalinga? We can see here the Kalinga part is here. Understand?
War was fought to conquer Kalinga. By the time the war ended, more than 1 lakh people had perished, and about 1.5 lakh people were taken prisoners. Despite his success, He was devastated by the violence and brutality of war. After seeing the destruction, he converted to Buddhism and started teaching Buddhist values like respect for each other and tolerance to his people. However, as a practical ruler, he did not allow slavery and death penalty for heinous crimes. He appointed several officers as Dhamma Mahamattas who traveled to places preaching Dhamma.
See here, we can see that from north side you have seen in the map. Understand? He came to the Kalinga. He wanted to rule even in the southern area. He was a good conqueror. But in Kalinga war, he won the war. But at that time, nobody was left except him. All the people died and lakhs of people were died and there were rivers of blood, red blood. Seeing this, it shocked him. Understand? Then he gave up the war. He said that from today I am not going to war, and he gave up his weapons. He gave all his whatever defense force he had with him. He gave up. He took the promise not to wage war against, and this was a great shock for him. After that he started following Buddhism. Understand? So what the Buddhists, I taught you in the lesson about Buddhism also, you have learned that what was their ahimsa and truth and non-violence. So he became the follower of, Ashoka became the follower of Buddhism, and he sent many Buddhists to teach in different parts of India. Even he sent his daughter and son to spread Buddhism all over the India. He constructed many dharmashalas. He constructed many viharas. Understand? So he thought that follow the path of non-violence. Understand?
To build an empire whose people are united in their knowledge of Dhamma and its values, he put up edicts throughout his empire. These edicts urged the citizens to act morally and to take responsibility for their actions. To spread the message, edicts and inscriptions were scattered all over the empire. Walls, rocks,
See, carving on the rocks,
with messages were
carving on the pillars.
People were expected to come. Ashoka then appointed officers to read the message to the people, and thus helped Buddhism reach new heights. He sent his messengers, including son Mahendra and daughter Sankamitra, to other lands such as Syria, Egypt, Greece, and Sri Lanka to preach Dhamma.
See, Burma, Sri Lanka, and every place.
Ashoka ruled for almost 40 years. After the Kalinga War, the land never saw any war. 50 years after his death, the Mauryan Empire came to an end. Ashoka passed away about 2,000 years ago, but he left behind his empire of truthfulness, dharma, non-violence, compassion, and love of subjects.
See here, he ruled for 40 years, but after the Kalinga war, he stopped him and he followed Buddhism. Even he sent his daughter and son to spread Buddhism. See, he was so great that even in our emblems, we are having what he followed, lion's capital. See, we can say this as Ashok Chakra. What is that blue we call? Ashok Chakra. And these all were carvings were done on his capital. So everything, our emblem, it has been followed Ashok Emperor. Understand? He was compassion. Understand? He followed. He was very sorry for when he saw this Kalinga war, and he said that innocent people died in the war. Understand? So he died after 50 years, and this was end to Mauryan Empire. Understand? So we can see that even he was one of the ruler, that so many dharmashalas, so many rest houses, so many things he opened, he gave, and also the roads which were being extended by him, so many things he opened. He gave water supply to everyone, and whoever travels on the way, there were steps. Well, understand, water was being supplied and drinking water facilities were given to them. So this all was being started by Emperor Ashoka, we can say, and it is because of Chanakya they could come forward. Chandragupta, Bindusara and his son Ashoka. Okay, so I end this lesson. If you read in your textbook, understand, you will come to know about this lesson, Ashoka, Emperor Ashoka, or we can say that Mauryan dynasty. Understand? So, thank you.